shall I say, good morning. Bridget is helping me with the stories of my life. And I'm saying I've been offering this project to the little family, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. So I say a prayer before I start. Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, amen. Dear Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, I ask you to bless this project of sharing my family with my grandchildren and my children and friends and whoever, but to say that I ask your blessings to give me the wisdom and the spirit of Jesus's and God's blessing on the work that I share of my family, and I'm happy to do this too. We thank you, Jesus, Mary, Joseph. Amen. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Well, today's or this segment is going to be on little short stories that I have here. And then we have a little special gift of sharing a big project. Well, this whole thing is a big project, but anyway. So this is what I thought I'd do. I'll have to read my notes. I'll look at my notes now and then because I just not that prepared. I got one before. But anyway, this is in 1953, so I would have been, let's see, 13. Oh yeah, I was. Eileen and Eileen. I was 14 and Eileen was 13. But this is called the story about Laundry Day on our house in Bowser. And we found out that here it is, 7th grade. We found out that the Jesuit High School was going to play at Craddock Park, which is near our house. So we had 4 or 5 girls from Holy Trinity walking with us to our house. And we come in the house and I'm running in, we were all running in. And I said to my mother, Skippy's playing baseball, Jesuit. And we're going to go to the game. Well, one thing, honey, there you have to, I did all the laundry of the sheets for the beds. So if you and your girlfriends can do it real quickly, you can go. I said, oh, yes. So I gathered all my girlfriends and Eileen too. And so we got a whole bag of sheets. Now, some were folded, some were not folded. They were kind of like taken off the line. So they were kind of, in a little container. But no problem. So this is the funny thing about this story is that Eileen is taking 2 of her friends on this is of course the back porch is what we're doing. We're doing the 7 or 8 single beds, Ari beds, or I call it bag. Okay, anyway, but Ari beds. So and I had the others at the other end of the house, other room, and then we had the 2 double beds or 2 beds in the middle bedroom. But okay, what happened? I'm not even going to look at that notes because I lived this story. We started doing it, and then Ann Jackson, who was from Highland Park, who later on went to Hockaday, and we went to Ursuline, and her daddy was a lawyer. Very wealtly family, and Ann would have us over at her house sometimes on Saturdays, which is very wonderful. But Ann Jackson came to me and she said, well, we ran out of sheets. And I said, well, no, we have enough sheets. These are the same sheets that Mom takes off the beds and we put them on. She says, well, look. And so what happened, they put 2 sheets on every bed, on the 2 beds that they were making. So they didn't have enough room. There's no sheet for the other bed. And I said, oh, no, it's only 1 sheet. And then there's a bedspread somewhere around the room, and we put the bedspread, and that's what we use for our top sheet. So they all looked at us, and we all looked at them for like a moment, and it never occurred to me to be embarrassed. We kind of laughed. We thought, well, who has 2 sheets on the bed? We're kind of like, we don't understand that, but this is the way it is in our house. So they took the bed sheet off the one and the other one, and then of course the 2 girls with me, I wasn't paying attention, did the same thing. So we redid it real quickly and ran to Craddock Park to see the Jesuit play. Of course, we're in our we're in our Holy Trinity uniforms, grade school uniforms, going to Jesuit high school with the high school boys games. And I still no embarrassment because when you have like 4, 5, 6 girlfriends, you know, you're giggly and you're happy. Well, that's the way we were, and we went on that game. So that's the name uh, of, of my Eileen's and our laundry day with our girlfriends. Then this is the one, and that, all big families, or any family, you're going to have accidents. Well, I did one of the kind of the biggest accident. Kind of, now, how do you say biggest?
What year?
It was kind of bloody. I'd say I like that. I'll say it's bloody. I was about, I guess, about 5 or 6, something like that. And I loved music, and I always really, that was the other thing that I first felt as a young child, that I was going to be a dancer. I don't know how I was going to go to dancing classes. I don't know what I was going to do, but that's what was in my mind. So I was dancing in the living room, nobody around, and I was humming some music. And what happened is I ended up tumbling, uh, jumping on the couch and tumbling in the long couch, just doing a somersault there. And then then I'm singing and twisting around in the middle of the living room. And then there's these 2 big stuffed chairs. Well, I jumped on the front of it, and I put my hands on the 2 hands of that, and put my knee down on the cushion, and jumped, knee, and went over the top of it. And I screamed because I looked down and my leg was bleeding around my knee area. So I run to mom, and I'm dripping blood as I go. And mom ran because I was a bloody, hey, can we do a bloody scream when we see blood? Yes. So that's what she got out from wherever she was and came running down the hall, and saw what I had, blood on my hand, and because I was touching my knee, and went to the bathroom. She washed it off and put a small little towel wrapped around my knee, and said, "You hold it. Now come and tell me what you did." So I took her to the living room, and I said, "Mom, I was just dancing and kind of tumbled on this chair." Well, she could see. She didn't look at all the chairs. She saw the blood on the chair, and she put the cushion back, and there was a double blade razor blade sticking out on the side, inside of the chair. And that's what cut my knee. And of course, she's just, my mom, mom works silently. She really does. Not saying things, no worries, you're taken care of. Let me go get somebody to take us to the hospital. Well, that was the thing. Daddy's out of town. Well, it didn't matter. There's some of the big ones maybe that weren't there. Mom had to go to the neighbors and get somebody to, get to drive us. So I'm not thinking about the rest of the story about who took care of the babies or toddlers, because that's behind me. There's got to be 1 or 2 toddlers, or 3 anyway. So mom and I went to the hospital. I had 14 stitches in my knee. And I remember 14 because that was a lot of stitches. And that's what mom said. So she said, "This is really serious, Angela. You're going to hurt yourself worse than we did." So, but the end of this story is, I never found out, how did that double blade, razor blade get into a chair? I mean, that's scary, So I think mother from then on, well, of course, the rest of that day, she was looking at all the chairs, and and of course, I never talked about it, and I never, when I got the stitches and everything, I said, "Oh yeah, I just cut myself." I didn't say the whole story of how I did it or anything, but interesting. Then sleeping in the kitchen. We had the 10-foot table. It just fit on that side of our kitchen. Some of those cold nights, Eileen and I would take our bedspread, and that's the new thing of having a slumber, what do you call it? Mattress thing that you can zip in and get in and zip in. That's what we used to. We put our bedspread down and then folded it over us and had our pillow. And we slept on the table. And the kitchen was warm. So, hey, take advantage. Eileen and I do that. Now, of course, I probably think it was me that I wasn't going to do it by myself. I bring my cohort person who was always with me. Everything I said or did, she went along with it. And I thought, well, we're going to get into trouble. We're going to do. But Mother, and of course, we woke up and up. No, Mother's not ready in the kitchen right away. She didn't say, so we put our pillows, and we didn't tell our secret. No, this is a secret. We didn't want anybody else to do it. Although 10 foot, you could get 2 more kids in there doing the same thing. But a great independent-minded person that I was, I created that idea, and I love that memory too. And then the Medici story, I don't know if I said this. This is in 1950. I added to it that Joanne is one of the reasons why I went to the private school in 4th grade, 5th grade, is because Joanne was able to go to the bus with me in the mornings. So the other thing was Joanne was afraid of dogs. So on the 7 or 8 blocks we walked to the Holy Trinity to catch the bus right there in Old Pond. She would put me in front of her. And the dogs would come and bark at me. And I just said, nice little doggy, good little doggy. And I'd say, Joanne, see, there's nothing to it. And they would, put my hand out. I don't know if that was good. Well, that he's going to bite me. Bite my hand. Don't bite my stomach or chest or whatever. Joanne, I was her protector, and she loved me for that. She always hugged me. And but I didn't know if I added that to the wonderful days of walking to school, only this way, walking to the bus stop. So again, Eileen did not talk to me about missing school, where I was. I'm sure. You know what? I'm sure that Dad told the family I was going to special school and not to ask about it or something, because no one talked to me. And the other thing is, when I went back to school in the 6th grade, nobody at Holy Trinity asked me where did I go? But there again, Eileen probably said, don't ask my sister about her special school. That's private. Something, because there was never any talk about it. And even today, I never even asked to go back in life and ask my mom, why did you and Dad send me to Medici? But on the same side of this story is when I was in high school at Ursuline. I'm going 6 years of Ursuline Academy. I told my dad, and I think it was my sophomore year, and I don't know if I said this before, but I said it. Dad, I have an idea about being a boarder just during the Monday through Friday. Should stay there because they had the best program for studies, and then maybe I should not sleep there, Dad. Maybe I should come home at night. I'm talking to my father like this, and he said he's listening, and he said, well, I think you better just find out about those hours of study habits and then create them at home, and there you go. You can still be with the family. Well, oh, Dad, that's okay. But I don't know, Dad. It's quiet over there. It's not quiet over here. So, Daddy, he smiled, and he always let me talk. Always let me have my ideas, and just I was encouraging me. Is what Dad did. So that was interesting. This is it. This is it. That I was now about 7 years old. Maybe it says right here, maybe I was 8. Skippy had a paper route, and he was, how old he was, older than now. He's about 14, I guess. And I said, Skippy, and guess what else? He didn't have a bike. You know what? I thought the boys had bikes. We girls never got bikes. We got roller skates. But no, there was no bikes around the house. So I figured that, and from this story, that Skippy, the one that got him to help get him the job, had a car. So he was like 16 or 17, and Skippy helped him with his, he helped him with his paper route. So there we go. I asked him if I could go, and he said, "Okay, I'll wake you up at 4:30 or 5." I said, "What? What?" Well, it doesn't matter. I'm an early bird. I can do this. So that's what he did. Do you know right now? I don't know if I ever told my mother that snuck out of the house. It's like sneaking out of the house, quiet, so you don't wake everybody. And we went on this paper route, and there were two guys in front. The driver that is helping, Skippy's helping, and then Skippy and I are in the back seat with the windows down, and we're getting the papers and we're folding them. I don't know how we folded them. We didn't use rubber bands, but we folded them and we kind of did an insert. So it was tight. And I know Skippy, I was saying, you have to be stronger, Andrew. You have to put it right in there real hard and crinkle it so it stays when we throw it. So Skippy told me how to fold it. And then we went on and did the paper route. And of course, Skippy's throwing it from the back seat, and the other guy was throwing it from the front seat, and I kept on just folding the papers. All of a sudden, I looked down, and when we got a light, it started getting lighter. I saw my shirt was kind of dirty from the ink from the newspaper, and I had dirty, smeared hands, probably chest, whatever. I come in the house, and I think we got home probably maybe about 7 o'clock, almost 7 o'clock, which is when the kids were all starting to get up. So I get in the bathroom and probably took a shower, or not a shower. We didn't take showers. We only took baths. I don't think there was a shower head. Come to think of it, I think it was just a big giant tub. And got dressed and ate breakfast, and hey, we went to school. So there you go. Came back, well, of course, I went to the school, and we didn't talk about this paper route, what I did. But on the way home, I said, "Well, how was the paper route? I didn't even miss you." "Well, how would she miss me? I mean, I have my own little single bed." And I said, I have to tell you the truth. Don't ever volunteer for this job, ever. It's a guy's job, not for us. So that was my statement on this wonderful little experience. There I did. I thought of these ideas, and let's try them. Let's experiment on them. So there's the end of that story. Then this is the elderly lady on Bowser who would always go to past our house to go to the grocery store. Now, she was a New York dancer. I don't know what else you call that dancing squad, but she was petite. She's a petite 5 feet tall lady. But we didn't know this until later, that she was a New York, and she was a single, never married, and or we didn't think she was ever married. Maybe she was or something, but no children. But she went to go to the store. On the way home, she would carry in her right hand the little 6-pack of Coca-Colas, and then the groceries in her left hand. So we would always we got to be friends with her. So maybe we should go and introduce ourselves. So that's what we did. And Ursula was with us, and in fact, Ursula was ahead of us because she's 2 years older than me. So we would just go, Ursula, Eileen and I think it was just the girls, go and visit, and we called her. But then we started calling her Aunt Una. Well, Aunt Una would finally show us her beautiful Christmas time, her beautiful train set that she put on, and we said, well, we had our own train set from Daddy's contact with the Jesuit seminarians who made this for our family. We had it for a few years. Don't know if I told you about this, but the one that we got was like you go to a train store and you see these two trains going in opposite directions, and you see this big plaque of plywood which had green some kind of green material on it covered, and then they built a village, a huge village over here with a church and the little school and the and the people and the stores and all the little trees. I mean, that's what it was. That's what we McCaffreys had for our Christmas present from these darling young, not, maybe they weren't Jesuits yet, just beginning to do their studies. And we would just wake up Christmas morning and there it was. And so we had it for like 2 weeks in the house, and then they took it away. And we were at school when they take it away, and all of a sudden, where's our train? Play the train again. No, it's gone. So they did it again one more year, and then that was it. We had 2 years of that lovely, beautiful gift from them. Then, this is the other story of visiting Grandma. This is Grandma O'Brien, Grandma Marie O'Brien Wilson. And Mom said, we're going to go. I think you and Angela are going to go visit Grandma and spend 2 nights, spend the weekend with her. So we said, oh, great. And so Mother packed for us. Okay, just got that. Remember that little idea. So we went, and this is in the summer, and we went like Friday afternoon, and then Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. So we got in. Oh, well, there's no school. That's right. It's summer. What was so interesting about our visit with our grandmother is that, the clothes we wear in my day as a child were called pinafores. And pinafores were sundresses that had a little fluffy lace around the sleeves and a little open, and then a little sash. And what was so wonderful while we always wore pinafores is first of all, it was cool. Second of all, you don't iron pinafores. The material was so light, Indian cotton kind of thing. So that's what we wore, to go to our grandma's. We had sandals to wear. And so we woke up Saturday morning, and Grandma fixed us breakfast. Grandma has a dining room table in her tiny little kitchen. In this big, huge room was this dining room table with like 8 chairs. And then Grandpa has this radio and this big stuffed chair over there on the opposite wall. And he was already turning on the radio, listening to something. I think Grandma gave him some coffee. So we had breakfast. I don't remember what we had. But Grandma said, go out and play. And I said, what? Wait, we got to do the dishes. No, I'll do the dishes. So she did the dishes. We went out and played. Loved Grandma's house because it was a fourplex house, apartment. 2 big, giant, long rooms and about a 10-foot, believe it or not, 10-foot wide and about 20 feet long hallway, both upstairs and downstairs, to separate these apartments, and a great porch upstairs, downstairs. So anyway, we loved it. We had a car park was there, and we could run like a car, run in and step up on the steps and run on the porch. And the porch steps, or the porch gate, or not gate, whatever it's whatever you call it. We would walk on the top of it, and balance yourself. I mean, we were just loving this. And Grandma came in, called us to the house, and so we came in.
Who was it? Who would be there?
Huh? Grandma?
No, which kids?
Eileen and I. Just the 2 girls.
Oh.
Okay. So Eileen, of course, and we would do it. We're like, if anything, I would say we were twins. We're only 14, 15 months apart. And Eileen's almost the same size I am, or I'm on the same size. I mean, I just was, with the asthma attacks and everything, I was a little thinner person. So, but anyway, Grandma says you have to go to the store. Now, it's just going down the corner, turn right, go 2 blocks, and it's right there on the corner. And I thought it was like Tom Thumb or something like that, but maybe I don't remember the name of the store. So we did. She opened up her little coin purse, and in these little coin purses, they were like about 5 inches and deep. and she had little places for us. So she gave us some money, some dollar bills, and she said, and gave us a list. Now here's the list. I'll never forget the list. Del Monte's peas, Del Monte's green beans, Del Monte's peaches, milk, whole milk, and maybe something else. Maybe she said, why don't you get some oranges? So we got the oranges too, but Del Monte was it. And she would look at us and she says, can you read this? And we said, well, I had to be 6 or 7 because we could read. And yeah, Grandma, we know it. And how do you pronounce that? that D, she says, Del Monte. Don't worry, don't get any other brand. So Eileen and I, we went to the store. Oh, the store is one of those old stores, which I don't know if you've ever seen at your age. They were the, huh?
The storefront.
No, just some inside the store.
H&H.
I don't know. Daddy's thinking maybe may have been an H&H, but it had wood floors and it creaked when you walked on it.
Oh, that's like the Five and Dime.
No, this is my grandmother's house on Bennett Avenue.
Oh, not the store?
Oh, no, the store. Oh, yeah. See, I don't know. See, Tom Thumbs and we had some other grocery store. But this is, you know what? I may not have been Tom Thumbs because Tom Thumb was at our house area, and it was a big store. So this is like a neighborhood store, grocery store. So
we had one on Main. Remember that?
Huh?
We had one on Main where the floors creaked like that, and the
Oh no, I didn't know. Oh, Bridget, wonderful. So you know, yeah, and the ceilings are very high.
Yeah,
It's very tall, and so very quaint looking, very country kind of kitchen thing. Of course, I don't know what the country was like because we were city girls. What we're talking about. So we went and sure enough got the little, they had the little rolling basket, little small on wheels. So we would roll that out and that would creak too. Everything was, creak. So we got the whole list, got it up and went out there. And fortunately we had the right amount of money. Couldn't have cost very much, but we had the, change. So, and then we walked back home and gave Grandma, emptied it out. She helped us empty it when she was helping it, or we were helping her. And then she, in a few minutes, she said, it's going to be lunch before long. So y'all go out and play again. So the reason why we kept going out to play, because Grandpa was listening to his radio and he didn't like to be disturbed. And Grandma knew it. You little munchkins, don't bother Grandpa. That's it. So that's, he's always quiet and over there. So Grandma made some sandwiches and put a little potato chips and maybe a little cookie and had a glass of whole milk sitting on the table. And we came in, washed our hands, of course. Grandma would say that. And then Grandpa would come in and he'd kind of smile at us and we'd say, hi, Grandpa, how are you? And he would go, and he'd say, oh, yeah. And then he would like to take that thumb in his mouth and put it in his mouth and it's like that. And push it out and make a noise. And he would laugh. He would laugh harder than we would laugh. So of course, we were laughing because he was laughing. But he was a cute little old man. Now, if Grandma was probably 6 feet, something, she's tall. Grandpa was like 5 feet. Cute little, punchy little tummy, and he wore black, looked like black leather high top shoes that were laced all the way over the ankle, and he always had a pair of slacks on and a business suit. And but he's going to work too, so he's going to get on his tie and his coat and go to work. Take the trolley and go on to work. But it was wonderful. Grandma, I have to describe Grandma's kitchen. I should do that. It has one of these porcelain sinks that it's all porcelain. We had it in our home on Gramercy in our old kitchen. And there's a draining thing that goes down that you can put wash your dishes. And of course there was a little something, plastic thing. You wash the dishes in the plastic thing and you rinse them in the the other part of the sink and lay them out to dry. So we did that for Grandma. She loved it, and I loved the cabinet. It was up kitchen cabinet that was a piece of furniture, and it had it was like 6 feet tall with open shelf, not open shelves, but cabinet doors. And you'd open it up, there would be 2 shelves there. But in the bottom of the last shelf, well, we had about this much room to before you get to the base of the cabinet, and it was a thing that she put the flour in, and all she had to do is hold it like this, and the flour would come out in the bottom. So you close it, and it would stop. And then on the other side, same thing with sugar. She had a little container that's the way it worked. And I really like that. And you know who got that cabinet is Skippy and Jenny. When Grandma was moved over to our house, Grandma and Grandpa, Skippy and Jenny went over to that, and Jenny wanted that cabinet. So Jenny has it in her house in Fredericksburg. I would love to have had it too, when she got it. But that was easy, and then we went out and played. But the other thing is, we called Mother about right after that, back to lunch. And guess what? The phone was the kind that had the black long handle to it that you held on, and the little thing they pick it up and with a wire to the phone and hold it to your ear. And the bottom part of that was the dialing system. So we would dial and hold the phone. Sometimes you could lift it up, and sometimes we just leaned over and listened to it like this. But we call about, and we'd say, "Okay, Mom, when are you going to pick us up?" She said, "You're going to spend the night too on Saturday night, and Grandma's going to take you to church." Oh, we have to stay one more night here. So Mother laughed. Yes, and you entertain your mother and stay away from your grandpa, because I know you should. She says he likes to be he likes to listen to his radio. Mom, we already know that, so we're okay. So we didn't call Mother back, but we Saturday afternoon we played around and took a nap. We even took a nap, not in the bedroom. We didn't like the bedroom. The bedroom was down this other hallway, the back hallway, and I think there was just 2 bedrooms. The bedroom, you have to understand, these big apartment buildings, they're huge rooms, huge hallways, huge furniture. Huge, so to get up there on the bed, it's a 4-poster bed. We had to pull the thing of the bedspread back and stand on the little ledge there to get in. And it was like 6 people could sleep in it there. That's how big it was. So Eileen and I we didn't want to take a nap in there, so we told Grandma, we'll go in the living room on the couch and take a nap. She let us. Let's go in the living room. But there was books in the living room. But the other thing about that experience, I started to say experiment, experience is going into the bathroom, the huge bathroom tub. You could put 8 people in it. It was huge. The toilet was huge, and the sink was huge. Everything's huge. So Eileen and I didn't take a bath. We didn't let Grandma know that we didn't take a bath on Friday night. But Saturday at about 6 o'clock, get ready, get your pajamas on, and we're gonna eat. We ate, and right after that, we were supposed to take our bath. So we went and took our pajamas. And now, I told Eileen, well, let me take a bath by myself for a change. I mean, this is pretty cool. Have a bath done by yourself. So I turned on the water, and all this rusty water was coming out of the tub. And I got out and I turned off the tub, and I just went to the bathroom, the bathroom sink, and I just washed my hands and put a little water in my face, dried it, and came out with a towel wrapped around me. I didn't even put my pajamas there, a towel. I said, "Oh, Eileen, go ahead." Go ahead. I'm finished. I didn't tell her. She went in. She did it. She screamed, comes out, "Did you do that? Did you have?" "Yes." "But don't tell Grandma. She'll worry about it. Just do what I did." So Eileen forgave me. Anyway, I was kind of mean. I'm a big sister, but it was too much fun to do it. But anyway, we did that and we went to sleep. And well, of course, when you play hard, you sleep real good. And we got up, went to ate breakfast, and Grandma said, "Okay, dress on your nice dresses that I know your mother packed for you." And sure enough, our little suitcase. We got our little suitcase, only one little suitcase, and there was our dresses, our patent leather shoes, socks, clean underwear, and we got our Sunday best dresses on. And Grandma took us as we left the apartment. We didn't call it an apartment; their home. Grandpa was still sitting there by the radio, and I went, "Oh, this is really interesting." I started to say, "Well, aren't you coming?" And Grandma kind of grabbed me on the shoulder, get me out, and on the way, I said, Grandpa's not coming to mass with us." "Well, he's not baptized yet." I said, "What? Well, isn't he kind of old to be baptized now?" She said, "Well, we're praying for it. And by the way, you all can pray for it too. But you know what? He's a nice man. He's a very good man. He's a very good provider." That's what I heard about Grandpa. So that's what we did. We went, but guess what? Walked the 2 blocks. We took the trolley down Ross Avenue. Remember Ross Avenue? And Grandma and Eileen sat together, and I passed them, and I sat on the other side by myself. And then somebody came in and sat with me, and I fell asleep. Well, the trolley is this kind of jumping thing, and it just put me just like rocking asleep. So that was I woke up, didn't know where I was. And finally, I looked up and saw Grandma, and she says, we're going to go." That scared me. For a moment, I got a scared feeling that where was I? Where was my grandma? And what if they got off the trolley and left me on the trolley? I mean, I had all these nightmares, seconds of thoughts. But we went into, now here goes, Sacred Heart Cathedral of Dallas, Texas was like the monstrous churches, cathedrals like in Europe that I saw later on in life. Huge, giant, and the altar, like you get in, and then the main aisle was like 8 feet. And you have all these pews all the way back, and then you have another aisle, and you have some more chairs. But Grandma knew her place, her place that she wanted to always stay. We knelt down and saw this beautiful giant crucifix. And of course, at that time, the altars were facing the back of the altar area. So the priest said the prayers not facing you. Like he would turn around and say the prayer, and then he'd go on the altar and do the things on the altar. And the altar boys were very formal wearing and everything. But this is the other thing that we'd had at the Sacred Heart is we had this going to communion at the communion rail. But at the cathedral, you put your hands under the cloth. Now, at our church, we didn't have that. We just went to communion rail, but this was different. And then the altar servers had a gold patent that put it under your mouth, and then you stuck out your tongue, and that's how you received communion. Well, that's what we did all the other church. But the cathedral was it was like, to me, it felt like a castle because of the ornate paintings and the candelabras were so ornate. But anyway, so that was Then our time. Finally, we called Mother again, and we said, "Okay, when are you coming? Because it's Sunday. We already been to mass. We already had breakfast. We're ready to go home." "Okay, we'll be there as soon as we can." So I think maybe before lunch, Grandma came. Oh, well, of course, Grandpa came and picked us up. That was our only one time ever to do that. Ursula said that she spent several weekends with our grandma, Ursula and Joanne. And I think Ursula was mainly by herself, helping being there. And then I guess Joanne had her time, and maybe the boys. we don't know about that stuff. So, but it was happy times that I had with my grandmother, and I'm the first granddaughter to be named after her. And I don't know if I said that because I was the first great granddaughter, I got on my seventh, and I think it was my seventh birthday, I got a pearl necklace. And I remember mother seeing it, I seeing it and giving it to me, and I opened it up, and there it was, and oh, it's beautiful, and I wanted to put it on, mother, no. So that was the first and last time I ever got to see my gift from my grandmother. And mother's going to put it up, but we never forgot all about it. That's another thing I have to say to y'all. And this is 17 children and a family. We grew up with 14 of us because 3 had died. But when you have a thought, if you don't express that thought, it's gone. It's just the way it is. There's too much action going on. Too many things that distract you. You have to go forward. Is what you have to do. But I think I have her mother's collection of her jewelry. I have an old pearl necklace, and I think that was my birthday gift. It's very it's not even real pearls because it's all scraped off. A lot of the pearl is. That's what makes me think I might still have that gift. Can't wear it, but it's there in my jewelry box. Y'all are going to come across it one of these days. Or maybe you'll say, "Wait, where can we see your grandmother's?" There it is. Okay, now here's the other thing I wanted to tell you. I want to talk to you about. I don't know what time we have. Okay, I have a watch. I have a watch. There it is. And this is a special thing, okay? That it's all about, and it says, I call it our mom. Well, I shared our mom, so it's not my mom, it's our mom. And this was written, documented, not on this paper, but I found it in another document that I wrote this 2 days after Mother died. Okay? So it says, and I'll read, I think I'm going to read some of it, and then some of it I'll get to talk to you all about. Our mom, Frances Marin Wilson McCaffrey. I have to say this right now. Of all the 35 grandchildren that are now like 50-something great-grandchildren, not one of those grandchildren ever thought to name their daughter Marin after Grandma. And here I have a granddaughter that her name is Marin. Her name is Sage Marin. And I am so proud and happy that Bridget thought of naming her daughter after her great grandmother. Okay. The heart of our family, and you've heard that before with other people. The heart of our family gave us life's blood and sustained us life's challenges. It was her strength of character and strong will that she passed on to her family through the virtue of love without limits. In her gracious and quiet way, she raised all of us to never lose hope and had a faith so strong that our dad gave her a title, a saint. She lived her life in a way that was full of joy, and by her example, we developed a spiritual way of life. Loving our Creator and saints, she made a difference in our lives for all. Frances was the first daughter of 3 born to Marie O'Brien and Homer T. Wilson in Dallas, Texas. Her younger sisters, Dorothy and Lillian, were involved in a fire which Dorothy started, and this is when they were like 16 and 13 years of age. Dorothy died in that fire only after my dad they smelt the fire and went back to Dorothy's bedroom. I think that's what it was where the fire took place. Daddy took Dorothy and grabbed the carpet. This is incredible. And wrapped her in this carpet and carried her out. And of course, the others were putting out the fire and looking after Lillian because Lillian also got hurt. But Daddy rolled her out there, and it was the carpet stopped all the fire, all the fire on Dorothy. And of course, Dorothy died from smoke inhalation. And Lillian got burned from her chest up into her chin, and her lips were all just stars, burned all around her head and her hand. But she lived. Dorothy lived, and she was disfigured the rest of her life. They could not do, she would put lipstick on her lips, and they were little swollen, but there was some kind of surgery they did for her lips to make at least form lips. So that's a tragedy that my mother had to live with her two younger sisters, but they're glad to have Daddy there in our lives. Frances was educated at Ursuline Academy from first grade through high school. She graduated May 29th, 1928. She was not only given a Catholic tradition education, but also educated in music. And music was her piano, was her music. What was that? What would I say? She didn't play the flute, or when she played piano.
Or instrument.
Okay. She performed. Our mother, at her graduation from high school, she played the piano, classical, popular, and songs on her graduation day. I have the list of what she played herself. And then she also sang in the Ursuline Quartet. And I won't bother you with the list of all that, but Hanley, Wilhelm, Albinus, I'm not pronouncing it right, Lizette, Chopin, Sarasate, Lizette again. Those are all the music that says what she played, okay? We didn't even know Mother did this, even though we saw a piano. Well, she didn't have a piano browser, but when we moved in Wooding Drive, my father bought a piano. We didn't hear her play. Okay, so she was in the choir. The music she sang, the choir was Pale Moon, our old refrain, by Logan and also Gracel. Her class name, Frances, was the class prophecy. Gave the class prophecy. She graduated from there. She went on to Incarnate Word College in San Antonio, where she majored in music. As she was enjoying her time at college, she met a young man going to a Get Acquainted dance at St. Mary's University's gym, which, by the way, how many years later, I met Al Notzon at that same gym, but this would be the second time I'll meet him. First time I met him was our Get Acquainted dance at Incarnate Word College. And Al came up to me. I don't know if I said this. I don't even know who this guy is. This guy came up to me, and I was late for the dance. He came walking in. I came walking up. It was by the pool, swimming pool, and he came up. He says, "Hi, you want to dance?" And I remember. I just looked at him. I wasn't looking at him. I was looking at where is Eileen and Louise I want to remember some of these names, but anyway, from Holy Trinity, that were, from Holy Trinity, Ursuline, and then here we are at college. Margaret William, that's another one. But I was doing that, and he says, "Hello?" I said, "Oh, I'm looking for my friends," and that's all I said to him. I didn't really kind of see him, and I walked up. Well, I never saw Al the rest of that night because I think he went home. Anyway. We were at St. Mary's Yeah, we're going to go to the Get Acquainted dance at St. Mary's gym, which was still there when I was there, so it was an old gym, anyway, creaky things. But anyway, he called me the day before, got a hold of where I was, who I was, called me on the phone and said, you going, this is Al. And I said, okay, Al, do I know you? And he says, well, I was going to ask you, I was the one that asked you to dance last week. I said, oh, okay. Oh, well, are you inviting us to the dance? Is that, because I think isn't it for the whole, everybody? He said, yes. And I'm just going to be late. I just wanted you to know. I wanted you to save me a dance. I said, something like that. I said, okay, I don't know what, hang up the phone. I don't know what the guy looks like. I get there. So your daddy had me marked. Now he's a senior and I'm a freshman. So there you go. So I danced and had fun. And all of a sudden, got to be about 9:30. I think we were there at 8. So we've been there a while. And then I was dancing with some guy, and I think Al punched him on the shoulder. Excuse me, I want to dance with this girl. And he did. And he danced with me. And that Mr. Al Notzon, isn't it funny that I call him Mr. Al Notzon? He wasn't Mr. Al Notzon. Al Notzon put his cheek on my cheek. And do you know he kissed me on the cheek? Dancing. We're dancing. That's pretty close. And I'm going, I'm frozen. I'm frozen because now I see what he looks like, and he's good looking, and he really talks really well. And he kissed me. I mean, how do you do that when you're just meeting somebody? But that's the nerve he was. That he reminds me of my daddy, because when I tell you that some of the things Daddy did was, kissing my mother and writing her a love letter and telling her he's going to marry her, and my mother saying, "Well, I just met you." Kind of thing, same kind of thing going on here. But anyway, she was meeting him, and he's from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and his name is James Horace McCaffrey. And the thing is how they, of course, they met this Get Acquainted dance, and then from then on, it was dates they had with each other, and it was nobody else around. And they finished their freshman year. And Mother went back to Dallas, and Daddy went to Milwaukee. The thing is that summer, my father invited my mother, it's not even written on this, my mother to go, I had to insert this word, insert it to tell my mother, ask her if she would come to Milwaukee, take the train. And Mother found this classmate of hers, Ursula, her friend Helen, and Grandma, my mother let her go. So Mother packed, and she's going to Milwaukee to meet James Horace's family. Daddy set this up, okay? So here we are, and the girlfriend and did the whole train ride. There is a publicity in the Chicago paper of these two girls going to Milwaukee on a trip. I have that picture in my grandmother and my mother's scrapbook. Bridget, you have it in your possession because I loaned it to you. And now I'm hearing the story from Ursula telling me about this story. So that was great to know that. But I'm going to get back to that. So she got to meet them and meet their family and came back. They both started in the August again for the second year, sophomore year, St. Mary's Incarnate Word. And his father said he wasn't going to pay for a second year of college. Daddy had to do it. So Daddy ended up doing a pressing business. Press your pants, press your shirts, and that's how Daddy made money to go for his college. Knowing that he didn't make that much money, okay, because of the job, and he played football for St. Mary's, and so Daddy knew that this is not going to work. So he wrote Mother a love letter and told her that, Frances, you don't know it, but I'm going to be your husband. And I have that letter, that love letter. which I don't know. I got a commercial. There again, I was so proud to have that. But anyway, so they didn't go back. They got married. And this is where it continues. Mother and dad got married in 1929, a fall break in Thanksgiving. Now, we didn't, at Sacred Heart Cathedral, Mother's Parish. We didn't know it at the time, and I didn't know it till I was married. That I realized, you know what? They paid for education for that whole first semester, and they didn't finish it. Okay. Wow, Daddy had took Mother off their hands, and he was determined. That's Al Notzon. That's exactly him. Anyway, you know what they say? Some daughters marry people, husbands like their dad. Well, when my two older sisters came back to me later on in life, they said, "You're the only daughter who married somebody like Daddy. Joanne didn't, Ursula didn't." And we didn't talk too much about Margaret and Christine, the other two sisters. But I thought, I said, "What, am I going to get a red ribbon on this, a blue ribbon for this?" And they said, "No, you really, the way you all live your life is just like Mom and Dad." So isn't that something? History repeating itself. So anyway, but that Mother and Daddy traveled to Evansville, Indiana, and another place they lived, and they worked out of town in these several different towns. Daddy worked for Pittsburgh Paint and Glass Company, which was also his father, Paul McCaffrey, worked for that company years before. So after doing that for about 13 years, well, who was born was Jimmy and Pat and Mary Lise, and I think Joanne. So I think, wait. Three were born. Mary Lise died at 18 months old from food poisoning. I said something like that. And then Joanne was born. No, Charles Joseph was born, and he was born. He lived to take a breath, and then he died. So there was two dead and two living children, more that we can account for. That Daddy and Mom moved back to. I'm over time. Okay. And lived with her parents. And that's when I was born. Ursula was born, and then I was born. I was a newborn. And then we lived there on Bennett Avenue and moved in 1940 to Bowser. Now, I have some more stories to tell about my mother, but I wanted to make this just only 1 hour, Bridget.
Right.
So I'll close on that. But I enjoy these stories about.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying all the stories. It's like the memory comes back, and sometimes it doesn't come back real quick unless I look up with my words. But thank you, Bridget, for that. And we want to make it just not too long. And,
Yeah, these are perfect.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. You want to say goodbye? Huh? Have a nice day. Okay, we'll continue.